Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast.
So you hit a line drive to me and it hits me in the junk. I'm on third base.
Mm-hmm.
The options are: one, you start walking towards the dugout, assuming we're on the other side. You put your helmet down in disgust because you feel awful. Or what would be the other option?
The other option is that you leg it out to first because you just hit the ball and you don't realize that someone's been hit and you're just running.
But what if you hear this?
And then option 3 is that you see your buddy get hit in the dick and then you quickly run over to make sure he and the boys are okay.
Welcome to the PP1 Podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. What a segue. What a segue. Brought to you in part with DraftKings, promo code THPN, and Raycon, also code THPN. But I'm going to tell you about that a little bit later on the audio version.
When somebody says segue, I still, like, to this day, I can only envision Paul Blart.
Mall Cop, yeah. Mm. Didn't they make a second one?
Oh, geez, I hope not. Probably,
I think they did.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was a smashing success of the first one, obviously. Yeah, I don't get that.
Paul Blart, really... King of Queens.
That's good. Yeah, Kevin James.
Yeah,
he really he legged out a career. That guy.
He got it done. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, when you're buddies with Adam Sandler, I think you're gonna be okay. Like, hey man, I'm gonna make a movie. I feel like we've had this conversation.
Have we?
The Adam Sandler conversation.
Maybe Adam Sandler. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure. So anyway, yeah, I sent you that video on Instagram there about dude line. I mean, thankfully it knows my personal algorithm. So
I think we might have the same algorithm.
Yeah, you already sent me that. Oh,
I don't get nearly as many contest entries as you do, probably. Like, that doesn't show up on my account as much because you would just tag me in them all.
But you probably just get all the ones where a guy steals a catch from his teammate in the outfield and then just keep sending me those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My daughter Addison, she's already sending me like clips from Snapchat. I'm not even on Snapchat, but she showed me the one of the Cubs where the guy hit it to first and there was a rundown between home and first, and then he overthrows it or misses the play at home, and then the guy in first ends up getting to like third or something. Was it like a season ago or something like that? Remember that play?
Not really.
I'll have to send it to you. Anyway,
yeah,
so
I'll need to see it.
Just so we all know where our family social medias are. I'm like, wow, it really didn't take long, and I've raised them well. So
yeah, I think that's when you know you've done a good job, when you get kids start chirping you.
Yeah. It's. I mean, that's kind of a given. I think once you're a dad and you've raised children and you've done it enough and you've done it well, yeah, they're gonna start chirping you because they've seen the pattern. Like, kids don't like. There's no more spankings and stuff now. It's just like, man, like, instead it's just getting chirped. And they got to make sure that they can dish it out when the time comes.
Yeah.
That's good.
They're still little babies, though. They can't take
it. Like Monopoly 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you, that did not end well.
Yeah, well, that was a bad trade. Guess you shouldn't have sold me Park Place. That's on you.
Yeah, it got pretty heated, and I realized playing with a 10-year-old who doesn't know how to sell real estate doesn't go well. So the trades got a little bit out of hand, and knowing me, I don't like to lose. And I was later told after the game that I played too seriously by my wife.
Yeah, there may have been like an occasion or two where I've said, you don't have to pay me rent, but if you just give me that property, it's just fine.
Yeah, we had some interesting conversations. And seriously,
you played sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Addison won free parking like 6 times, and I didn't pass go for like 8 turns. I don't know. I think I hadn't passed go for probably, I don't even know how many turns, but everyone already owned property at least once before I even like passed go the first time. It was awful. So
you got smoked.
That. We're not. Yeah, I knew I was going to lose, but
so there's the like the card game Monopoly. Now,
okay.
Have you played that?
I have not.
I can't remember what it's called.
Like I like Monopoly.
It's like a Monopoly deal or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we
I've
got
heard
it
of
for
it, though.
Christmas last year, and we've played it a bunch. It's actually a lot of fun. It happens quick. You complete a game in about 15 minutes or so, and then you just keep banging them out.
Really?
And it's fast. It's you own properties and you put houses on. It's really good though. I recommend it. Maybe it'll end up in your stocking this year. We'll see. You've been a good
Interesting.
boy.
I mean, you've been to my house, I would say at least twice. So you're gonna be our new Santa.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. Love it. Yeah, we're gonna talk some hockey tonight. We're gonna talk about the Vancouver Canucks. It is American Thanksgiving today.
Whale team good.
Pardon me?
Whale team good.
Yeah, whale team good. So for now, whale team good for now. Did you happen to watch any of the football? I know you were likely working.
No, I was actually working today. I tuned in for about 15 minutes before, or just after lunch hour to watch a little bit of Green Bay.
Okay.
Green Bay do their thing. Man, Love looked good. Looked real good.
I don't like the sidearm thing. It bugs me.
You don't? Oh, I think it looks so good. When there's like
incredible.
A big lineman throwing the hands up to block the pass, and he just
he threaded one right through the middle. Oh, it's fun to watch, but it drives me crazy when I see these guys throw sidearm, almost like they're not meaning to do it. There's some guys that throw sidearm pitching, and that's their style. But for a quarterback, I don't like it.
Yeah,
it just rubs me the wrong way.
Sneaky start of the week, Jaden Reed, TD in this game, 13 points.
Maybe had you shown up to the show, you could have told us about that.
That's the way it goes, I guess.
We don't worry, we roasted you. It's fine. In the first, speaking of the Green Bay Detroit game, so halftime in that first game was Jack Harlow. He's a cool guy.
I just watched the White Man Can't Jump remake.
Yeah, and he seems cool. He's pretty legit in what he does. Not the best choice for a halftime show.
I can't say that I listen to any of his stuff, honestly.
He has that First Class song. Have you heard that?
I've heard more Jaden. I've watched more Jaden Harlow movies than I have listened to Jaden Harlow.
It's not even the guy.
Harlow.
Jack
Harlow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how much I know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Good pull.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever listened to one of his songs before, but yeah. Maybe
anyway, it was awful. And
okay, maybe I won't check it out.
It was. I mean, you could catch it on a quick. It got made fun of really, really quickly. It was bad. And then the next game was Dolly Parton for the Cowboys game.
Who's that?
She's a country singer. 9 to 5. You might.
Oh, that's Miley's aunt, right?
Miley's aunt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She was pretty good. I didn't know she was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, though. Wow.
Dolly was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader?
Sure was.
Wow.
Today, anyway.
It's very on brand.
Looks good for late 70s, early 80s. That's for sure. So definitely instant change. And then I think the Seahawks had Steve Aoki. Okie dokie.
That's the one.
We're hitting it with the millennial crowd tonight. I can feel it. This is all the energy I've got. I've been fighting a cold or a flu or something the last couple of days. So this is the most energy I've had in 3 days. And I have a feeling it's going to reset tomorrow. I'm going to feel lousy. So enjoy this, folks.
I heard a rumor that after November, people's health generally increases because your mustache carries all sorts of extra germs and stuff like that. People are sicker in the month of November, for that reason.
So I could blame you for making me get rid of that extra. So I probably would have been that much healthier had
I think it looks very distinguished.
So yours curves down. Mine just kind of caterpillars to the sides.
Well, I mean, I could make a caterpillar too if I just played with it all day long like that.
Yeah, that's true. You could
go blind.
I think I just saw your wife wink in the background there.
Oh boy, does she hate my mustache?
Yeah, it's good. I like it on you. You should keep it. So the Vancouver Canucks. Canucks. They've been doing okay. They lost. I mean, I feel like we could talk about the Colorado game for the entire show.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so fun to watch.
There was so much going on. Regardless of how it finished, I think that game definitely proved that the Canucks can hang with the big boys. I don't think they're in the same conversation. Well, they're in the same conversation, but they're not in the same tier as Colorado quite yet. I think you could still notice that there was a lot of things that Colorado just did so amazingly, easily well that the Canucks there's a lot of dump and chase from the Canucks, whereas Colorado could gain possession and gain the zone, and they just made so many quick decisions, quick passes, and without error. That being said, there was also the other part of the game where the second period basically was a penalty fest, and we saw basically it feels like a makeup call almost from the game before for Höglander getting 5 in a game for the slew foot, which again, it's not a good play in hockey, and they called it to the letter of the law, and that's fair. But then to see Manson get 5 in a game for cross-checking Besser,
and not only did he get 5 in a game, but it was like how he got the 5 in a game.
It was
like cross. They go off. He's in the box. He's making fun of Brock. Ha ha ha. Ooh. He's doing like the flail, and all of a sudden it was like, and then all of a sudden it is like the teacher. You know, you're sitting in the back of the class, and he sees you after he's placed you over there, and he points at you like, "I see you being a little asshole over there. Get out of the classroom."
Yeah.
And it was like, "What, me?" And then all of a sudden he's tossed. It was so great.
So you're likely watching the game, right? We were driving back from skating. I'm listening.
I did likely watch it.
Yeah. Well, I'm listening to the second period in the car. So we're hearing this. And from the time we left the rink to the time I got home, there was basically the initial act of the penalty. The whole, we think it's 2. Well, Besser's in the box too. Maybe it's a double minor. And then it takes forever. It's 5 in a game.
I've never seen anything like it.
And then, so they're going back and forth, like just chaos. Everybody's just like on the radios, just going nuts. And then I would say like 2 lights later, which is not very far.
2 lights later. Okay. Yeah.
The Canucks get a penalty, or no, was it another Colorado penalty?
But just to go back to that sequence, right? Like that, because there is a bunch that happened after that. But that sequence went from Colorado power play.
Yeah. That's right. That's
5
right.
in a game.
That's right.
Like it was, if they went from being on the penalty kill to being on the power play just like that, it was
and
hilarious.
Then through the next like 3 minutes, basically of real time, not of hockey time, there is basically penalty.
3 lights, 4 lights.
Yeah, 4 lights. Basically by the time, and then a nice climb up the hill. The Canucks had like 7 seconds of power play time. Over 5 minutes. Like it was just chaos. So it was like makeup call out, and I didn't see all the calls, but it sounded like a few of them were pretty dicey at best.
I feel like maybe like the refs felt like they were starting to lose the game a little bit, and it was like, y'all are on lockdown now.
Yeah, they're calling anything.
Yeah. So it was, the second period was it was from a game flow perspective, it was tough to watch.
Yeah.
But it was still super fun. Like it felt like a playoff game. The game got like mucky, grindy. I think that's a thing, right? And like it felt like Vancouver was in the game. Felt like your chances were there.
It was tight, like a playoff game for sure. That's when Aquilini should have dropped that quote.
It was fun. It was fun to watch. It felt like it was important hockey. Like it meant something.
Like, and then the JT Miller goal, the little power forward move. It had a lot of everything. I do think it lived up to the billing as kind of one of the premier games of the season so far, just in the league. Yeah,
I would probably agree with you on that one. It was a little closer, I think, than the score reflected, obviously. But I think, Vancouver had to get into that game a different way than Colorado did. I think Colorado's better players were just better.
Yeah.
Miller made a bad play at the end of the game, but he also made a really good play when you talked like that power move you were talking about, which to me was the power version of that Bure goal on the breakaway in the preseason off the skate back to the blade around the goal. I mean, he did the same thing. He went to the net, took on contact, went to his skate, went back to the blade of his stick, and then went like short side on Georgiev. And it was just, oh man, it was so nice. Like just such great skill and body control. Like, he's done. He's earning his money right now. He's worth every penny somehow against all odds that contract is paying him right now. And I don't know where they'd be without him.
I think you're right. And you're right. I think that move when there was the giveaway there and Makar goes in, I mean, it's Cale Makar. Dude's going to score on that penalty, or not penalty shot, the breakaway.
And kind of a ballsy play by Makar on that one too, right? But that's what we see from Hughes that we like as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he committed to the play, gets a breakaway, scores, obviously. I mean, and Demko almost got it too.
You got a big piece.
So it goes 3-2, and it was the kind of play where, I mean, the Canucks are still in it. And then you could tell like that was kind of the defining play of the game because it was close up to that point. Both teams had opportunities, and I was wondering if the game was going to kind of shake out that way. I was thinking like, is it going to be one-sided one way or the other for, is Colorado just going to own Vancouver, or the Canucks going to maybe get a kind of a lucky one early on the season and really take it to Colorado, which was possible. And it ended up being like, do you remember the game after, or the game before the punch, the game after the Naslund hit? Remember the 5-5 tie when Gary Bettman was in the house way back when?
That was the game after the punch?
No, the game before the punch. So Naslund got hit.
Okay.
And they came out, and I think Brad May said his thing, right? And then, so Gary was in the house for the next game.
We should have May on again. That was
a good episode. That was, see what can happen. So, and Gary was in the house, basically like the principal's in the building, and it was like a 5-5 tie. It was like the best game of the season. It was just unbelievable hockey. And then once Gary went home to New York, that's obviously when it all happened. But it felt like that kind of game where the stars were the stars for the most part. Goaltending was pretty good. Georgiev was, I mean, he needed to be good because I think the Canucks had some pretty amazing chances. There was some.
I think he needed to be good in the first
period.
Yeah, in the first period, needed to be good. In the second period, when the game got wonky and there was all those weird power plays, needed to be good. And then I think he didn't really have to do a whole lot in the third, I feel like. But he had sort of, I mean, the team had sort of already started to establish a little bit of dominance there as they rolled in. Like I think this is why, like, watching Nichushkin out there, like, he's just so big and he's so strong and he's very, very skilled and he gets around really well. And the Canucks have a form of that in a guy like Miller, obviously. But that's why I think he is the reason why. Like, that's what you're looking for when you're looking for a player with that kind of size and ability, right? I think that's why teams are so patient in giving a guy like, a Dakota Joshua extra shots and a little bit more, just because a nice heavy player like that. And I think, man, it would be great if the Canucks could somehow get their hands on something like that. And I know Nichushkin's like a little bit of a unicorn when it comes to those kind of players, right? There's very few of them around the league.
He's also had his moments too. He's also gone the other way too. So
yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think that's why a couple of teams have taken shots at developing him. Right. So, Yeah. He was good. That was a guy that I really noticed in this game for sure.
Yeah. Well, he's
like more so than McKinnon.
I mean, McKinnon didn't look bad either. McKinnon,
he did.
They were talking about on the radio, like, great. Now remember when like either Sakic or Ginla, when you woke up the bear?
Oh yeah.
It was one of those kind of games for McKinnon. I found like soon as he got pissed off after that major, it was all bets are off, and he just started wheeling. And you could tell like Colorado flipped a switch, which is unfortunate because I think the Canucks might have had a shot at that game a lot more than they did anyway. And that, I mean, it's not the Canucks' fault that the way that all shook down, but I mean, I'd be pretty choked too if that's the kind of.
Yeah, there's been players like that over the years. Sakic, Ginla, like Foppa was a guy that you didn't ever want to just wake up, right? Because he would just take it to you.
But we do that in ball too, right? Like I think about our ball team, if there's like an out or something where we've been pretty choked, we're like, okay, guys, just like chill out. Let's just get it back the way we know how to get it. You've been robbed of something. You've been screwed over. Let's just go and do it the way that we've been doing it all season, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of strange underlying stories in that game. I mean, Höglander scored again, turned it into a little bit of a buzzsaw. You have I don't want to call it the fall of DiGiuseppe, but like he hasn't been.
I thought he had a good game.
He hasn't been exactly the Energizer Bunny that I think they've wanted him to be the last little bit. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen when Suter gets back in the lineup and you got a healthy Teddy Bluger. Somebody's going to have to come out. I think where I'm kind of going with this is the fact that Höglander started to establish himself more and more. Like where is the lineup that's going to start to change down the road, right? Like is a guy like DiGiuseppe going to be kind of more of a depth piece down the road, or is he still a solid player that's playing on a really important line, right? I mean, I can't remember who it was. Somebody had tweeted out, like, imagine this line with, a Miller, Podkolzin, and Höglander or something like that, right? Or a Suter, Podkolzin, and Höglander. Like, that could be like, or a Lafferty. I mean, you put one of those guys on with two of those guys on with a Lafferty as a third or fourth line. Like, man, that could just be there could be a ruckus being caused there with those guys. Yeah. So I at some point, I feel like those guys are going to start to establish themselves, and I just wonder who the casualty is going to be. That's all. And that's good, because we haven't had that in a really long time. So it's strange to be thinking like that. Who's going to come out of the lineup? Where has that question been like the last 4 or 5, at least for the majority of the time that this show's been on the air?
Yeah.
There hasn't been a casualty guy. It's been like, this is the best guy we got. I kind of got to go with him, It's going to be fun the next little bit here as this team, if it keeps rolling. Not that we've really been rolling lately, but still, 6-4 in the last 10, right? I mean, some healthy competition internally, which is finally.
So that's interesting you bring that up. And I know that you're not a big fan of checking out the rundown because you just like to go in fresh, but I do. And here's what I wrote. So I just asked. When I do write the rundown. So you bring that up, and that was going to be my next question is like, are you happy with the configuration of the top 6 right now? Do you think maybe Besser needs to move up because Manko maybe needs to go? Like, do they flip a couple pieces in that top 6 and maybe give it a bit of a new look for, I mean, again, the team isn't struggling, but I do think there's a few players, because Manko would be one. And I think Besser, not to a lesser extent, but I think it's almost just like kind of a shot in the arm a little bit, just to give a kind of a new look. One, for the team itself, just to maybe have a little bit of familiarity with another guy and give that, like, I think Pettersson could probably be putting
he's got to get going here a little bit.
Yeah, I think he could be putting up more than he has, which is, I mean, says the guy.
Isn't that weird? Then we haven't even seen the best of Pettersson yet.
He's like, he's second in the league in scoring. So, I mean, he should be first. Like,
he's still picking up points.
Yeah, but I do look, and I think maybe it wouldn't hurt at this point in the season. This is where they can afford to do it. They've built up a record already. And I think based on, especially who they've got coming up, we've got another San Jose game. We've got another Seattle game coming up. These are the kind of games where you
not guaranteed win night, though, Seattle.
They're not.
Right?
I'm just
only
saying,
6 point back. That's going to be a really important game.
But if you were going to test out some options, these are teams you can afford to test out. I'm not saying they can still lose them for sure.
I wouldn't say just be testing things out in Seattle, but yeah, for sure against San Jose.
Well, I mean, that game was close, aside from the Quinn Hughes far side wrister, which was probably one of the nicest goals he's ever scored. But I like I said, I just look at those top 2 lines and I think it's not perfect, which it's never perfect. I don't care how good of a team you've got. But I do think that it wouldn't hurt, not line blender style, but just to give them a new look for a couple of games, just to see like, hey, can we get a little bit more out of these top 2 lines? Because they were buzzsaws to begin the season. And now we've seen a little bit of, a little bit of a plateau for now, which, again, that's saying a lot considering they're still putting up points and they're still getting goals. So, like, we're critiquing the little things because that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's funny to say this. At some point, Petey's got to get going a little bit here, right? I mean, yeah, I know where he sits in league scoring. That sounds silly. Everyone and their dog knows that there's a little bit more to give. And then, there's lots of speculation that there's something that's bugging him, something that's ailing him a little bit. And Kuzmenko hasn't been what we expected from him based on previous years' expectations, right? I mean, I think he wildly exceeded expectations last year. Expectations are much higher this year. He's fallen flat a little bit. He's still a player that obviously can handle himself in the offensive zone, makes really good plays. Like, even I think he comes across as he goes to gain the line, pulls a little bit of a button hook at the blue line. And I'm thinking, like, what are you doing? This is an offside waiting to happen. Nobody does that. You don't make a move at the blue line. Turns, quick backhander. I can't remember who it was. Comes in on a partial break. Like, that was just a nice line gain zone entry. So he's obviously, creativity is is still there at a premium. He's not finishing like he was before. So, Vancouver did go back lotto line in the last game, and I think that's always going to be there, right?
You can default.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one thing about this core, for good or for bad, being together for so long, is that there is continuity there when you put a Besser up with a Miller, or various other players that have spent that many shifts together, right? So, yeah, I don't hate it. I think that you can go there in a pinch. I do like the idea of balance, but we've talked a lot about balancing, the D lines to start this season, and what have we seen for the majority of this year, right? When the D line, like when the D's putting up points, it's Hronek and Hughes, right? So if you're going to spread them out, I guess. But there's been so many injuries there that I think if you're going to find something that works and it's lightning in a bottle for a few games, yeah, you got to go to it. I think eventually Pete is going to get back on his game. Kuzmenko's going to pick things up together, and it might not necessarily be together, but once those guys are both going, and whatever it is that's ailing them, either physically or mentally, they're going to be fine once you get them back together. But it's nice for the first time in a while again to have options at those spots.
What we don't have options are on the defense, though. Like,
there's
injuries wise, I'm looking at, and I don't want to single them out because, like, guess what point of the show let's make fun of and beat on Tyler Myers. But
no, he's been
good. But have you noticed?
Fine, yeah. I mean,
have you noticed he's had in the last couple of games, like he's had a handful of mistakes. Like it feels like he's dogging himself on it. Do you think that's just because of the way that the defensive pairings have had to shake out because of the injuries? Like, do you think that almost like the whole Kevin BX thing when he gets moved up, like when the higher guys are out of the lineup and then the middle tier guys have to, move up a position, do you think that he feels he needs to take on more? Like, it just feels like he's making plays that he doesn't have to make.
What do you mean by like he's dogging on himself though?
Well, I mean, there's been a few, just like some of the penalties he's been taking the last couple of games haven't been ideal. Like, did he? Sure. He had an over the glass one, I thought, and then just, I mean, some of these they're saving themselves from maybe a goal potentially, but I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if it's possible, but he's trying too hard right now.
I don't know. I don't know if he's trying too hard. For the first time, this seems really weird to be talking about this. For the first time in a long time, I feel like he's playing within his means. Like, he's not playing outside himself. I don't think he's been put in positions where he's have to overextend. He still is Tyler Myers. He's still going to overextend in his situation, right?
But
by and large, he's been fine. I think he's been what you've needed him to be, right? I mean, what do we got? We got a couple of goals and 7 assists. So he's got 9 points in 20 games. He's averaging, 18 and a half minutes a game. Like, that's good, but it's not a lot. Like, remember when we used to rip on Edler? That was our whipping boy.
Yep.
And it was like, wow, Edler at 24 minutes a night looks really bad. Cool. Edler at 19 minutes a night looks really good. Like, he looks solid. Like, he can't be beat, right? So maybe not can't be beat, but like when you stop overextending a guy, I mean, you're putting him in a position to succeed, and you're not putting him in a position where you're setting him up for failure. And Talk's done a really good job of managing that. And obviously it probably helps having Gonchar and Foot on your bench as well, working with these guys. You're getting the best out of them. He's looked fine. He still does weird things, right? When you come down on a 2-on-1 and he's the biggest guy on the ice and he ends up sprawling on the ice, right? Trying to like break up some play in a weird way, or he falls or he slips or something like that. Those things are going to happen. I don't think that's an overextending yourself, but yeah, I mean, he looks good. It was kind of like when we used to watch Luongo, late, people would be like, why does he flop down to his tummy to make that save all the time? Like, can't he just like go down and stay tall in the net or something, right? But it just wasn't his style. It was something that he sort of defaulted to. So he still does those things, but it's weird. I don't hate his game right now. Thank goodness, because that could make it as a really good trade chip down the road. But who knows if they're even going to trade him? They might need him in the playoffs.
Like, I don't hate his game. I think, again, it probably just dials back to the fact that we're picking apart stuff because these are the areas that aren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
These are the areas where, like, wow, this could be better. And yeah, we've got a Carson Soucy that's out, and we're seeing the top two guys eat up a bit more. Like we're seeing some injuries, and I think we're just like, oh, there's got to be something better that could be done. And you're right, he's not playing terrible, but I think there's little things, like I guess because he's still doing some of the things that he's just not going to shake.
Like
persona.
Agree. So athletically, you still look at him and be like, he should be able to do more than that.
Right.
Right. And then you think of a guy that's playing 18 minutes a night and you think, okay, this guy should be a bit of a defensive stalwart. And you think of an Ian Cole when you think of that, right? But he's not that either. He's kind of this like tweener, and I don't know how else to say this. He's just this tweener two-way defenseman who can sort of move pucks out, but he can't move pucks out really well. But he is huge, but he's not overly physical. And he can defend, but he's not the best defender, right? But instead of being substandard in all those categories, he's average or maybe above average in a bunch of those categories, which has sort of helped his stock and where he sits in this pecking order in Vancouver, right? I mean, what a change of events, though, to go from like, this guy is borderline not good enough to be in the NHL to, wow, he looks like he needs to, hey, there's been times where it's like, what is this guy doing? Like, what is he doing right now? And now all of a sudden he looks like he could borderline play in your top four, right? I mean, I don't know how it happens, but I think that's what good coaching and a successful deployment plan does for players and coaches who understand which players they're coaching.
I think we need to switch out what our podcast is about. Paul from Facebook. I was thinking like this has got to be some kind of a spam thing, and then I realized it's the mustaches.
Yeah.
So I said early 80s.
Happy November.
Yeah, this is a blessing for everyone. Everybody wins today. Thanks,
I think a good comparison for this too, right, is like
we're going back to hockey, obviously.
Hockey real quick. So imagine Noah Juleson is not playing 13 minutes a night for you, that Noah Juleson is playing 18 minutes a night.
That's a problem.
Right. And that's a dumpster fire. Like you can't have that. Right. And I think that's the difference between Tyler Myers playing 18 minutes a night, Tyler Myers under a good structured system, versus Tyler Myers playing 23, 24 minutes a night on a second power play unit and a first unit penalty kill.
So you're saying, in a nice way, you're saying I'm picky. In a nice way.
Yeah, I think you've got high expectations.
I do. I think so.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think
you've seen so much. Yeah, I think
that's fine.
For the sake of the show anyway. Yeah, I think I'm being a little bit picky. But at the same time, I think I have a right to be picky right now.
Absolutely, you do. It's been a lot of years of shit, and it's you're allowed to expect more, right?
Yeah. I just feel that, I think it's warranted that we get to be a little bit picky on this team right now, because thankfully they've earned it.
I mean, it's funny how
we're critiquing awesome. So
we're critiquing awesome which we're not well versed in it. Hasn't happened very often.
I know.
But there's like one righty goes down.
Yeah.
Mark Friedman.
Yeah.
And the sky is falling. Oh my God, we have to replace a righty. And you're right. You need these righties, but like only Quinn and Cole are left-handers on this like top six right now.
I like Ian Cole, by the way.
I do too. I love him.
Short rant on that. Ian Cole has become.
He looks
podcast.
He looks like an NFL linebacker, honestly.
Like Trust the Process, they talk about having like boys. I think Ian Cole might be close to my boy. Like he's the guy that I'm fanboying on.
Yeah.
Because he's taking some penalties, but he's doing some other stuff. I'm like, man, that guy's a dude.
He's just that like nasty ass linebacker, right? I mean, like the offense is out there trying to make a play, and they're like, man, make sure you keep it away.
Yeah,
keep it away from 82. Like maybe don't go there. If you're gonna be breaking it out of your zone, like make sure you keep an eye on 82, right? Love him. I'm a big fan of that. I hate that he's 34. How many more good seasons can we have of this? But I love that we found him right now.
Maybe he's hangs out with Erik Karlsson in the off season.
Yeah,
it's like, don't worry, guys. I'm gonna bust out. Man, Paul Peters is having himself a time in the chat. Danny Wong is intense, man. We'll leave that in the chat for now. This is good. This is what we come for. So we saw the skate jersey this past week once more, and the debate comes up. This should be their home jersey, and da da da. And then there's the people, no, keep it as a third jersey. We don't want to overdo it. The Canucks should get rid of the Orca. All these arguments. Okay, here's what I think. Hear me out. I don't love the Orca, but it has been their longest tenured logo.
Isn't that weird to think?
It is weird. Like it or hate it, it is what it is. I don't want it to be forever, and maybe one day they do the stick as their main. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the Canucks, clearly. But here's what I think they should do. And they've done this before, and I think a few other teams have done this before, and they've succeeded both on the ice and on the chest, on the logos. Play with the normal jerseys. Keep the skate jersey as a third. But when that fateful day comes, when they make the Stanley Cup playoffs again, that's the home jersey. For the playoffs, that's it. That is the home jersey. You can have the white Orca as your away one. They did this back in
Are they allowed to do that? They're allowed to switch jerseys in the playoffs?
Well, you can just designate that as your home one, right?
Oh,
so remember when they switched up when 07, when they beat Dallas, right? And they went to the original stick jersey, Linden and the Sedins, and remember that we beat
in
Dallas
the playoffs.
Yep, Luongo holds the stick up. Remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, that was what an iconic shot.
Oh, that's like, and that wasn't even an official photo. That was just a fan photo. It was incredible. Anyway, I think that is how they need to approach the skate jersey situation. Keep everything as is. I love the fact that they're sprinkling in the third jersey and that it's an official third jersey now. We don't need to dabble in other stuff. They're definitely making their hay with that one. Maybe throw it in a few more times. It looks incredible. The matte black helmets, by the way, new addition to the uni. Like icing.
Such a subtle thing. Looks so good. I mean, again, back to that jersey and just a subtlety, like removing the white background from the inside of the skate logo.
And I remember my comment.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Remember my comment last year. I wasn't a fan of this jersey to begin with, and the skate is very close to my heart. But I having seen enough of it, it's totally grown on me. I would love one of those jerseys. I don't need one because I just don't wear jerseys anymore. Like I would love to have one.
I mean, we were looking at one today. And it looks so good.
I could do a t-shirt again, like get a name and number tee again. I could do that, even though those are way overpriced now. But I can't bring myself to doing the jersey because I'm just not in that game anymore. Like back in the Jersey City days, I'd already own one. That would have been a done deal.
Sure, but I'm just 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm just not there anymore. So that's what I think. I think now that they've got the matte black, like the BC Lions did a great job of this when they remember the RoboCops that they came out with back in.
Those were so great.
Yeah, like they hit those out, and like it took
the carbon fiber numbers and stuff. Yeah,
everything was incredible. And the Canucks, I think everybody in the NHL that of any other fan base agrees that like these are one of the best, if not the best, like throwback jersey out there.
Well, I think Biz Nasty just said that the jerseys they're fire best third jerseys in the NHL right now.
Yeah, it's they're so incredible. So I think let's just enjoy with what we got.
Another great guest. We should get Biz on again. Imagine a show with Biz and Myers on it. We've had them both here. It'd be great to somehow do like both of them at once.
That'd be tough. Maybe we'll make it happen somehow. Maybe we'll climb to the top of that ladder and get there. So anyway, that's how I feel on the skate jersey, because I think we can still have the best of both worlds, but I want to wait it out and see what happens. So when they make the playoffs, let's see what happens there. Another awesome thing happened with the Canucks this past week. Invictus Games, big deal, big deal in the Commonwealth, because we're part of the Commonwealth apparently still.
That's not weird.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. So apparently Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were at the Canucks game. That seemed to be a big
Did you see the Sean Avery thing?
I thought that he's not even a prince or anything. Like
sit the fuck down. You don't even know what you're cheering. So anyways, I generally, as a rule of thumb, don't like the stuff that he puts out, but it was pretty funny. You should check it out.
But pretty cool. I mean, if you're Quinn Hughes and who took the face off for San Jose? I don't even remember. Logan Couture. I don't even know. That was like last. I don't even know. I don't even know who plays for San Jose anymore. Pretty awesome though. If you think in your career, like remember when the Queen did the last time, it was San Jose and Canucks as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's really? Pretty impressive though. If you were to have, and I'm not the biggest fan of the whole monarchy thing. Like I think it's kind of stupid, but like it's done. It doesn't hold a place anymore. But it is what it is. The royalty, mega celebrities, and they're at a Canucks game of all places. And I think like David EB's up there. It's like, oh yeah, he's hobnobbing with guys, yeah, it's totally awesome. Having their fun. Pretty awesome. Big win. They got to see some pretty awesome stuff with the Canucks that night. So pretty cool. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fun. Sure. I don't know where else we can go with it, but it was neat to see them there. I think they're out there. They're trying. They're making an effort to get into the game, understand it a little bit. But yeah, it was apparently they were pretty impressed with Quinn Hughes and old buddy Timothy Miller there.
I mean, the goals didn't hurt. Like I said, that going wide side, when it went top shelf, other corner, because I kind of missed where it went in the net. And then realized I thought he went short side. And he did not. He went far side, and that goal was incredible. So that's what we get for having a guy like Quinn Hughes. So yeah, I think there's a lot to like about the Canucks right now. And I mean, like, it's fun. We get to just pick this team apart because, like, this is what a perfect team would look like.
And we haven't had to pick them apart. Yeah, we haven't had to pick them apart that often, right? I mean,
like the bubble. The bubble was the last good feeling we had.
Bubble was fun.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying we picked them apart, but that was the last fun that we had.
It was different too because bubble came when the weather was still warm, right? I mean, it was weird going and doing a post-game podcast outside when it was still nice outside.
Guys, you want to do a show? No, I'm at the lake. Sorry.
Yeah, let's do one anyways. Sure.
All right, I guess so. Yeah, guys, Canucks won and like, okay, we're going out for ice cream at the lake. Right. Sure. Now you wouldn't be doing that because all the ice cream places are closed. Just saying. So we've got Seattle is tomorrow night, Friday night. And I think San Jose on
big
Saturday.
Game, very important game.
What do you see the Canucks looking like in the next couple games here?
Well, I think we're gonna have to see who draws in defensively. Sounds like it's gonna be Hirose. I don't know how many more games Carson Soucy's out. We're gonna get a game of DeSmith in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Probably the Saturday game.
They got to get out of this they almost seem like they're sort of skating around fatigued at the moment.
Then
and I know that's
Vegas next week.
Yeah. So things don't get a whole heck of a lot easier. The Ducks are still a tough out. Regardless of what the record says in the last little bit here. But I think they need the decor to get healthy a little bit. That's starting to sting. Get a few guys back up and running here. But yeah, I think they got to turn things around a little bit here. I think that the constantly getting outshot thing, these tough grinded out games, Colorado was hard on them for sure. But I think if they can just get back in the right state of mind, work their way back into this game versus Seattle, get fired up a little bit, and then come out swinging for the rest of the next 3-4 games after that, we should be in decent shape. But the whole idea is at least for the next little bit to be at least 500, right? And we're 6-4 at the moment in the last 10.
So the big thing I noticed, especially after last game, was the power play. Everybody talks about how
power play, yeah.
Well, exactly, a lack of a power play. In the playoffs, you definitely need to be scoring at 5-on-5. And they're doing okay at 5-on-5. But lately, the last week and a bit, the power play has existed as far as assembly goes, but it has not existed as far as production goes. And I think knowing how hot they've started from this season, it's almost like they need to get back to just shoot first, ask questions later. Get back to the quick passes. Get back to, I mean, it's pretty obvious. The shots can be coming from one of two guys, but I think I've brought this up probably last season when things actually were going well on the power play anyway. Use that bumper guy. Really start getting down low and utilizing that part of the ice, because we know that they're going to cycle around the top, but they are getting a little bit cute lately. And I think the firepower that they have works. They just need to get back to trusting that. I know they're not necessarily getting open lanes, but just start felling guys. Like the whole Sammy Sal thing. I just didn't want to hurt the game. Dude, just shoot the puck, man.
Just let it go.
Like Hronek, just shoot the puck, bro. Just maybe go up to 2-man D again and just start blasting pucks from the blue line. And just let Miller and Besser and Petey just, eat up the rebounds. It's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, I was always okay with that. What, like, get it to the point. Guys wants to block a shot. Yeah, let's let them have it for a couple of shots here, and then if they start going to the net, they're going to be less inclined to block, so on and so forth. I understand that you got to like pick your spots a little bit better like that. You probably don't want PD wasting it in the dot there.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe let a few go if they're going to continue to take up the space, right? So.
They're just taking a little bit more time, I think, than they should be. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's probably true.
It's probably true. I think I got one more thing here. So, like I said, it is Thanksgiving in the U.S. And we've had this conversation so many times. But you know what? Let's have it again.
Okay.
Let's get into the food chat. Chat.
Yeah.
So
let's
let's
go.
I know how you feel about
Big pie guy right here.
Big pie guy. Yeah, apparently. And pretty intense with the pies.
Yeah.
So we know that you're not a mashed potatoes guy. And that's fine. We're not gonna push that. But I
heard a funny thing. I heard a funny thing on one of the pods that I listened to. The American podcast. This guy, he makes his mashed potatoes and he puts all the seasoning and stuff in it, the garlic and all that, but he puts like a brick of cheese, shredded cheese in with his potatoes.
Yeah.
Like cheddar cheese. You've done that?
Yeah, we've done it. Like shaved it and then
just like a whole entire brick
of
aged shredded cheese in with the potatoes. That is not regular mashed potatoes.
No, and we haven't done like full on where you get a full brick, but enough. Like probably.
I think I would be down to try that. But at that point, am I just eating shredded cheese or mashed potatoes?
It's actually not bad.
Okay.
So
it sounds good.
It is.
Put bacon in there. I might be into that.
Well, now we're getting into like gourmet mashed potatoes.
Okay.
I think the argument itself is just mashed potatoes.
I'm trying to just find a way to I can find a way to make Brussels sprouts good. I can find a way to make mashed potatoes good.
So Brussels sprouts, if they're
also,
roasted,
learn today that it's Brussels sprouts,
like apostrophe.
No, yeah, like Brussels, France.
Yeah.
Is it France?
Interesting. Something.
France. Like the mussels from Brussels. Sprouts, not Brussels sprouts, like Russell sprouts.
Brussels. Let's check this out. Brussels, capital of Belgium. Close enough.
Belgium. Yeah.
Great waffles also. So they're historically known for, it doesn't even say sprouts is the first thing. Is Brussels tourist friendly? Just like
imagine if your country was just known for sprouts.
Like, what are we doing here?
Oh,
why do we?
Yeah, just was today years old when I found out that it was Brussels sprouts.
I think I saw that comment on your timeline.
Yeah, I was doing a little
the more you know kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
was swooping.
So on our football podcast, good friend of the show, Jim Coventry.
Yeah, great guy.
Mega fantasy football dude, former teacher, just awesome human being. So I was rewatching the show from last year because we had him on during American Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And he talked about this, what did he call it? Like a cheesy cornbread. So it's like a cheesy cornbread casserole, he called it. So it's like cheesy cornbread with like, I'm assuming like the French's onions or whatever, they crunch onions on it in like a casserole. I think I need to know what this is like. Like, I feel like that's something that, is this a super American thing we just don't know about?
That looks pretty good.
So I didn't even look at a picture, but I was just kind of checking into it. But I feel like that's something.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Cheesy cornbread casserole. There we go.
So you got, I don't know where you were going with this ask, or I feel like because we do
like, should this be something we should be trying, first of all?
If you make it, I will try it.
Okay. I think
you got a top three Thanksgiving
Yeah, let's go top
dishes?
3. Yeah. So dark turkey meat. The white stuff's good, but like dark, I could eat.
Oh,
If turkeys just came in dark meat, I think I'd be able to like
keep going.
have
We're
that
almost
much
there.
more. Gravy's just a given, I think.
No, gravy doesn't count. Gravy is there.
Gravy's just like it's assumed.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be there.
It's implied.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, here's a question though. Do you like kind of like the white chicken gravy, or would you do the brown gravy? You know, the white gravy?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do the white gravy if you could pick?
Yeah, the lighter the gravy, the better.
Different tastes, right? Like I
The
like
lighter
both.
the gravy, the better.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we made gravy last year from ham stock. It was pretty good. With chicken gravy.
Interesting.
I liked it a lot.
Interesting. Okay, so we got that in there. I know in our family this has become a staple. So we also have a casserole, but it is broccoli and cauliflower cheesy casserole. So this isn't normally on most people's list for obvious reasons.
I'm here for it. It's good.
When cauliflower on its own, broccoli's evil cousin, it's disgusting. But when you mix them, when you get that combination, and if you can manage to get like fresh broccoli and cauliflower, you usually buy the frozen kind of combo pack. But you get that in there, you get tons of cheese, then you kind of bake it and you get like the French's, the crunchy onions on top there.
Mm-hmm.
There's never enough made, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Never enough. Like our kids, the fact that they request it, a vegetable.
We did like a fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower, cheesy sauce. But one year we used French onion soup mix in it.
Ooh. I feel like that'd be on the same level.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Yeah.
So it's like creamy. It's like almost like a pasta, like a creamy, like a pasta version without the pasta.
I don't know. It's because it's its own thing, because it's the broccoli and cauliflower, right?
It's all cheesy.
So cauliflower is on your list. Brown meat turkey.
Yep. And then, oh boy. I mean, I love my mashed potatoes. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I like that all you guys like mashed potatoes, because it means that nobody gets mad at me for leaving it.
I don't know what would be. Like, I want to say mashed potatoes, but so I don't know if you, and maybe we've had this conversation. So when I married into,
there's one really important one you're missing, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
I'm not cranberry sauce guy. I'm not stuffing, or what's the other? There's stuffing and there's dressing. Apparently there's a difference. They're both disgusting, but anyway.
No, that sounds like dressing sounds like salad. I don't put that on my plate.
Yeah, because you're so unhealthy. No, the other one. So when I married into Christine's family, in their turkey, they do like, you know, the roll of sausage. Have you seen those?
Roll of sausage.
It's like a wrapped sausage.
Okay.
And you unwrap it, and then you bake it in the turkey. So when you cut open like the neck part,
you get
like these rounds. Oh, I used to be good. Like, I was kind of like iffy on it, and then I don't know. There's one year where it hit, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. So now that's like a staple. But I think, yeah, the casserole, the turkey. I mean,
and the weird sausagey thing. Sounds good.
Because I think I just want to say potatoes, but that's just too easy to say. It's just too easy. And I mean, we don't get to add a whole lot of stuff because I'm usually full at that point. And I'm not a desserts guy on the big.
I mean, look, holidays.
I can't do desserts. I can do cookies and stuff.
I like it, but like it's only if there's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just eat to get full now. I make a big plate when I'm done.
You're not supposed to do that.
I just eat
during Thanksgiving. It's very acceptable, though.
Yeah, I just eat and then that's it. I don't go for seconds. So
I also am a brown meat turkey guy, but up until just recently, I could always just leave turkey and just do like a spiraled honey ham. That was like chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
But we started smoking the turkey. I think I might even just smoke a ham this time around. Brine it for like a day and a half, smoke it for like 12 hours. Everything comes out juicy, smoke ring on the white meat. Even the white meat tastes good. Like, 45 minutes, when it's cold and it becomes really dry, it tastes just as good, if not better, still juicy, extra good on sandwiches. So protein, I'm down with either of them. If I go to a house and it's just ham, I'm 100% there for it. If it's just turkey, I sure hope it's smoked. Stuffing, 100% go for me. Got to be stuffing. And I mean like the drier stuffing. I don't like the stuffing that gets packed away in the turkey and it's mushy and wet. Don't like that.
I can't eat it.
It's the bread with all the stuff on it. It's
good. I gag every single time. Like even to this day.
That's funny.
I can't do it. It triggers.
It goes so good with gravy on it though.
Just thinking about it now, like it grosses me out.
So stuffing, and I got a good one for stuffing when we come back here. But the other one would be, and I can sub both of these, although I prefer having sweet potatoes with like the brown sugar glaze in it, or squash, like butternut squash. And I'm good with either of them. If there's both there, I'm going to put them both on my plate. But squash and sweet potato, like far superior to mashed potatoes.
Do they have to be cubed though?
No, like they're whipped and mashed.
I wouldn't mind a sweet potato.
So good.
I wouldn't put it at the top of my list, but I'd eat it.
So when I make sandwiches the next day, it goes turkey or ham, right?
Or both.
Stuffing with a little bit of gravy on top.
Yes.
And either any combination of sweet potatoes or butternut squash on the sandwich. Way you go. Perfect. The one thing that I've heard you should try out is putting, and again, this probably won't work for you, but it might in this scenario, is you put stuffing on the waffle maker and let it crust up and become sort of crunchy, almost like toast. And then you put the two waffles with the turkey, and then you eat it.
I can't.
It's just bread though, Ryan.
I know, but it's something I've tried.
Look, I'm not going to hate on you if you don't like stuffing.
I'm almost gagging just saying it right now. Like it's mentally, it's like me and needles. Like I can't. Like
I'm not going to hate on you for not liking stuffing. I mean, it's you guys hate on me for not liking mashed potatoes. I'm not going to hate on you for not liking stuffing.
And I don't know. Like I honestly don't know if it's a texture thing, or if it's like a texture and like I'm getting this taste right in the back of my I'm trying to like get through this without just not talking about it.
Christy likes the cranberry sauce, like the classic cranberry from the gelatinous cranberry from the can that makes the noise.
Yeah.
That when it's on the table looks like the can. She loves that stuff.
Which is something in itself when you think about that.
It really is. It's not for me.
Like you see this and you're like, no, I gotta have that. And
you gotta have like a little soundbite, like when one of us says our wife's name, like it goes like, oh.
No, they don't get that kind of credit. You got to listen to the show first.
Yeah, big pie guy.
You got to listen to the show first.
Big pie guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I had another one I was going to say. Turnips. So I hate turnips. I will eat them. I will eat them if there was a gun to my head.
I won't turn up for turnips.
But see, I make that joke every single Thanksgiving. Like I turn up my nose. My brother-in-law actually finishes the sentence for me now because I say it every single. It's like we get it.
They still keep making them. I don't know.
And they still keep putting them like, Ryan, turnips. And he's like, no, let me guess. You're going to turn up your nose. I said, yes, right. I do turn up my nose to that because they're gross. Yep. It's just not something we need. Like the only place turnips belong are in Super Mario Brothers 2. That's it. When you pull them out of the ground, you can throw them. That's it.
Yeah, that's sure.
Oh, yeah. I think this is a Mario Kart one.
Yeah,
it's Mario Kart. Yeah, so that's the only place they belong. So I'm glad we had this moment here. I mean, now that you've got your smoker, we were over at your place last weekend for the Canucks game. Smoked some wings for us. Those smokers, I'm glad I know someone that owns that because I just don't have that kind of time.
Well, it's not really a time thing. You just put it in and then you just leave it.
Yeah, but you gotta.
It's way low. I spend less time on that thing than I do on a barbecue.
Oh, so you just chuck them? It's not like a day-long smoker. It can.
I chucked them in and then I went shopping. It was great. And then when I was in the meat aisle, I just made sure to check it, and I was like, "Oh, they're going to be fast. I better turn the temperature down."
Digitally, you can do this on your phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi barbecues.
Mm-hmm. It's a brave new world.
Bluetooth barbecues.
Yeah, I mean,
which also requires Wi-Fi.
not really a correcty pants, but yeah,
I know.
the concept is there.
I know. I'm aware. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, you did well on those. It's one of those I noticed because I haven't really had smoked stuff aside from like smoked salmon, which is phenomenal. You should do that.
Yeah.
But I noticed like the taste of like the smokiness doesn't hit to like right when you're close to the bone. Like I noticed like that.
Yeah,
that
you either get it on the
taste.
ring on the outside or right at the bottom of the bone.
Yeah,
right?
like right that finishing taste I noticed. So
yeah, this year I'm gonna buy maple wood pellets. And I'm gonna do maple smoked salmon.
oh, I could probably hook you up with some of that.
There you go. Perfect.
Considering I work at a hardwood store. And final thing before we head out, we are at the hour, but big shout out to Ted for being a hero in our family this week. My daughter planted her first money tree in Animal Crossing. Didn't know that was a thing.
Good advice. Good advice. I'm glad that she took it.
Her eyes perk up. What?
Smart
How
kid.
do you do this? So we went and checked it out, and she's in the process of reaping the rewards of her first money tree. So
yeah, Animal Crossing money tree. There you go.
Ted's not just a hockey guy; he's an Animal Crossing guy.
I'm here for the people.
Yeah. So thank you from one Animal Crossing family to another. Solid advice. Solid advice. Well, the Canucks have a couple games left this week. We got a big week. We're in December next week. Actually, we're not going to be when this show happens next week, but you know what I mean? But we're getting to Christmas party season, which hopefully we're all healthy for so we can make fools of ourselves. And then fantasy football playoffs, but that's a whole other story. So on behalf of, I mean, do you have anything left to say? You got any tidbits of info? Any secrets you want to divulge?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm gonna cough for a second. That's not part of the show. On behalf of my boy Teddy Wong, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 Podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. Also brought to you by DraftKings and Raycon. Enjoy those Canucks. Go Canucks, go. See you next week.